Hey guys, David Huffaker here. Just wanted to bring you another week of what's going on in the industry. So we are in our second full week of 2022. It's hard to believe that we're moving fast through it. We've got about 20 days left here, 15 to 20 days left of January, which means that February should be shaping up nicely for you. Remember, February historically is one of the slowest months of the year for closings, but one of the biggest months of the year for building and setting you up for success in 2022. So I want you to be thinking about as your numbers are coming together right now, people tend to hibernate a little bit. It's cold outside in a lot of locations. And so you'll find that you may find more time to be on the phones, more time to be having conversations. And yet we're still seeing a very, very competitive market, a lot of buyers out in the market, not a whole lot of listing inventory out there to be gobbled up. Remember, this year in 2022, we're going to run into a further restriction or constriction of inventory on the market as builders begin to run out of lots, as builders begin to run out of new construction homes. We saw a lot of those get eaten up in 2021 and just not enough time to develop more, not enough time to build more with the pace that municipalities are requiring for permits and approvals and things like that. So you're going to see further restrictions on or constrictions on inventory as far as what's out there. Hopefully, you guys are weathering the COVID spikes, that you guys are staying healthy. We're going to see that that's going to play into the market a little bit here going into the spring. People are a lot more vaccinated now, so you should start to see sellers getting more comfortable with it. But when we see these spikes in variants, that's also going to put a little bit of pause on folks wanting people coming through their homes and showing and things like that. So first of all, I'd highly encourage you to put together a virtual process from start to finish. Be able to do the whole process at a distance should someone choose or want to, and be able to break that down into steps, right? So everything from your buyer's consultation or listing presentation down to showing some homes virtually, showing things subject to viewing, being able to do a distanced closing with your title company should someone need or someone be quarantined or sick. Starting to see the restrictions ease up from the CDC. So again, hopefully that helps sellers get more comfortable with people coming through their homes and us getting more inventory on the market. But you're gonna have to be creative, especially here for the next few months. Once we get into spring and the temperatures rise and the threat goes down some, we should see a pretty healthy supply of homes hitting the market this summer. Some things I want you to be mindful of as you're getting into 2022, right? We need to be back to the basics. Gary teaches us to prepare for the market that we're heading into, not treat the market that we're in. Right now, guys, the market's really good. A lot of us are having a lot of success and living great lives, and you should be. But I want you to be thinking about as the economy has been pumped full of cheap money over the last few years, that has to play out in terms of inflation. And so you're going to see rates start to be impacted by that. It may be later in the year or beginning of next year, but we're going to see inflation issues start to become a problem, and we're going to need to have to find ways, monetary policies by the government in order to ease that. So it'd be something to pay attention to is what's happening with the government policies and the easing of inflationary pressures. But we want to focus on the basics and look at what we get or going into the next market. Guys, there is going to be a shift coming. There's going to be further supply constraints and things like that. So you just want to be thinking about that. And I'd encourage you to first take a second and breathe through that. That's okay, right? A shifting market's actually a healthy market for strong agents. And we also want to think about back to the basics, right? And so training is going to matter more. Your relationships are going to matter more. Building a successful database and pouring into your database, being in relationships with people is going to matter. One of the strongest things I think that you can go out and do right now is understand how to be able to offer all of the components of the market. So don't just get yourself stuck into an area where you're only offering the traditional services. You also want to have programs where you can help people buy before they sell, get cash offers, be able to navigate through what those look like through working through third parties and partners, renovation loans, construction loans, anything like that as far as what they may want to do with their current home and situation and moving into the next one. It is your job to be the resource for them and offer them the opportunity for a traditional sale, for a cash offer, for a buy something before you sell your current home offer, so that you are their go-to resource. And that's really how you want to let the consumer know, or your database know, that they can come to you regardless of the situation that they're looking for, and you'll help navigate them through that. That also means you have to stay in touch with your database, guys. That's the one thing I want you to really take away from this, is the time that you spend loving and communicating with the people that know you, like you, and will use you for real estate is the most important piece of the work that you do. Having lead generation hours in the morning so that you can call them and have conversations with them, going on coffee appointments, being able to do your follow-up, right? Being able to go on appointments and negotiate contracts. This is a real job, right? You need to be working 40 to 50 hours a week on your business and also taking some time to work in your business, right? So as you're going through that, I want you to be mindful of that. A couple of top things, shifting gears real quick of what's going on in our industry that I want to bring to your attention. So you're seeing the conversation, Realty in the past few weeks has asked NAR to eliminate the commission sharing requirement. That's an interesting conversation, as we've seen some litigation and some suits brought as the government and NAR try to negotiate. Should your commissions be publicly advertised, and should the seller be responsible for paying the buyer's commission? Guys, I want you to keep in mind that the seller only has to pay the seller commission. And so when you go into an appointment, it's often wise to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's what I charge for selling your house. What would you like to pay the buyer? Right? Ultimately, it's the seller's decision what and if and how much they want to pay the buyer's agent. And we really should not be trying to influence that. There is no standard commission. It's always negotiable. We know that. And it's interesting to see a company like Realty put some pressure on NAR to try to eliminate the commission sharing requirement, basically saying that in order to participate in your local MLS, we are legally required, or not legally required, we're required as members of the local Realtracs and MLS to put a commission under the buyer's agency piece. I love it. I think that it's fair, and it shows you should know up front what you're going to be paid as a buyer's agent so that you can have that conversation with your buyers. But guys, we are seeing the industry move more and more to the point that buyers need to be paying their buyer's agents, or at least that's the conversation that's being had out there. That puts a lot of pressure and trouble on, let's say, first-time home buyers who are already coming up with a down payment and some closing costs to now have to pay a buyer's agent's commission. I'm not saying that's what's happening right now, but that's the conversation that's happening within our industry at a high level. So I want you to be thinking through that. I want to encourage you to read some articles on it, open to having that discussion with you. I think it's an interesting concept, pros and cons on both sides of the tale there. And so again, just important to know what's going on. Support your local RPAC so that we can continue to have a voice in Washington and being able to help craft and guide these conversations. Last but not least, I want to wrap up. Gary Keller named the most powerful person in real estate. So if you're with Keller Williams, congratulations on being influenced and under the veil of, or under the umbrella of Gary Keller and his leadership. I know he's had a huge impact on my life, and therefore has had a huge impact on a lot of lives, right, through market centers, as his message gets disseminated, and it's his vision of what the real estate industry is doing. Again, being named this year the most powerful person in real estate. Always appreciate being at a company where we've got a visionary who sees the market for what it is, who understands where we're going as an industry, and is looking to provide you the most robust experience as an agent so that you can deliver a phenomenal consumer experience. Guys, I hope you're having a great week. Let's go out and crush this week. Let's make 2022 our best year ever. And I look forward to talking to you more. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or reach out to your market center leadership and ALC for support. Talk to you soon, guys.